in Portugal say they are resuming the search for Madeleine Mccann. You may remember that British 3-year-old went missing in 2007 while on vacation with her parents. Portugal's judicial police confirmed today they're conducting the search at the request of German authorities. Police could be seen cordoning off the Arade Dam, just over 30 miles from where the toddler was last seen. The waterline of the dam is currently low because of local drought. In mid-2020, German police identified a suspect who was in that region in 2007. He has denied that.
Welcome back to the channel, everybody, where we cover murder, mystery to the missing. Back in 2007, a family known as the Mccanns would go on a holiday trip to Portugal with their 3-year-old daughter, Madeleine, and her 2 younger siblings. They would stay at a place called the Ocean Club with a group of 7 other family members who also had kids. Sadly, on the night of May 3rd, something terrible would happen. While the adults were having a late dinner at a restaurant, which was approximately 100 yards from the apartments where the children were sleeping, the parents would take turns checking on the children who were sleeping in the apartments with the doors unlocked. When it got to Kate McCann's turn to check on the kids, she had walked into the apartment and realized that her daughter, Madeleine, was missing. She would become frantic, screaming her daughter was missing. Just prior to Kate discovering that her daughter went missing, one of the family friends, Jane, who had previously checked on the children, had noticed a man with dark hair carrying a child away close to the apartments. Authorities would be called in and a search for the 3-year-old Madeleine Mccann would begin. This tragedy would become a huge international story. Border police and airport staff were put on alert, while hundreds of volunteers would join the efforts to search for the missing toddler. As the weeks pressed on with no discoveries, they would issue a description of the man believed to be responsible and was seen carrying the child away that night. Sadly, there was no sign of Madeleine. Eventually, years would go by with no leads in the case, and the case of Madeleine would grow cold as the search efforts had been exhausted and the parents were quite frustrated. Then in June of 2020, German media revealed there had been a new suspect identified.
Her parents were at dinner. German authorities say a man identified as Christian B. was being investigated in this case.
His name, Christian Bruckner, who was serving time for other crimes. A true monster who had a very bad track record involving kids and much more. Back in May of 2007, there was even a phone call that was triangulated by investigators, which put Christian near the Ocean Club on May the 3rd of 2007. Christian was officially named a suspect by Portugal authorities in April of 2022. The German authorities would claim they have concrete evidence that Madeleine Mccann was sadly dead, but would not elaborate on how they knew. Now, after the 16th anniversary of Madeleine Mccann's disappearance, a new search has begun at the Arade Dam, where they have been searching for something very specific.
It's been officially confirmed tonight that the police search around a remote reservoir in Portugal in the hunt for Madeleine Mccann is over. Samples retrieved from the site will now be sent to Germany for analysis. My correspondent Emma Murphy is there for us. Emma, do we know any more?
Well, we know that the authorities say that they have taken samples from this area in order to send them for forensic testing. Because this investigation was led by the Germans, they will go to Germany to be assessed. And obviously what they're looking for is to try and establish whether or not there is any direct link between these areas and Christian Bruckner or Madeleine Mccann.
The dam is just over 30 miles from where the abduction site was at the Ocean Club, and not too far from where Christian Bruckner was living in a rundown villa. Although we may not know what they found, if anything, for quite a while, I'm sure this adds a renewed hope for the family of the Mccanns, knowing that they are out there searching for answers. And meantime, Bruckner is serving a 7-year sentence in a German prison and could be facing more charges unrelated to the McCann case. Hopefully this year will be the last year the family has to wait for answers, and we'll get some kind of closure, and the monster who is responsible will get the justice he deserves.